Good evening, everybody. This is Rob Johnson with the Spotlight Media Network, coming to you from Louisville High School, as we have a special event for you tonight. It's the Louisville High School Speech and Debate State and National Showcase. We're going to get things started here just shortly. We want to get the stream in, get it set up so that we knew that it was rocking and rolling, making sure everything was good for you. And looking forward to us having a great night and seeing some great entertainment. So we'll be with you here shortly. And again, this is the Spotlight Media Network.
Gotcha. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our 10th Annual Speech and Debate Student Showcase. I'm Gage Martin, this year's president, and here on my left is our vice president, Sabrina Capito. Tonight, we will honor our 4 fabulous seniors, and we'll recognize 19 members of our state team. You'll see a wide variety of performances tonight, everything from drama to original orators to debate, and the explanations of all those different categories can be found on your tables. Please also flip to the back of your programs to view our incredible sponsors who keep our program going and successful. A special thank you to the sponsors that are here tonight, those being Fulton Title and the Hideaway Buffalo and Grill, who are catering. Thank you for joining us. Please support the businesses who support our program. They've been very faithful to us. Please be very thankful to them. And we also thank our staff and administrators who are here to support us tonight. Thank you for coming.
To be efficient this evening, our students will be delivering your dinner to your table through the first few speakers. We will also open up dessert after dinner service and dismiss you in groups. At any time, feel free if you need to pop up to refill a drink or need to step out to the restroom. Additionally, if you didn't get a chance to get 50-50 tickets, you can pop back, or we will have someone make rounds about halfway through. Also, we hope you saw some of our awesome raffle tickets in the back. Snow trails, full day passes, and rentals, a paint and sip experience, Amish country theater tickets, a taste of Louisville basket, and more. Check out the QR codes to your tables to make bids to the items throughout the evening. You can watch the highest bids on the live spreadsheet to make sure you stay on top. Remember, all of the funds go to these awesome kids, so bid generously.
To add a little interactive fun to our night tonight, you may notice the blue paper that has questions at your seat. To help you be active listeners, to add a little fun and a little bit of competition too, you'll listen to fill in the answers from each presentation. They'll have different questions that you fill in that are explained through their piece. We'll collect these before the last speaker, and the accurate pages will be put together for tickets to the beautiful Stan Hewitt Hall that'll be drawn via raffle. With that said, we're going to kick off our student performances, so feel free to laugh, clap, maybe not cry, but respond to our performances in any way. Please enjoy yourselves and have a good night.
All right, our first performer of the night is freshman Catherine Cole in humorous interpretation. Catherine has been in the top 10 placers at 5 of the tournaments this season, including being the champion of this year's state novice tournament in interpretation, and was the first alternate to the state tournament. Please put your hands together for freshman Catherine Cole performing Sleepover from Hell.
Okay, and for time signals, may I get a 1 at 9 and a fist at 10, please? And whenever you're ready. Okay, 10 minutes until I kick off the best 10-year-old birthday party anyone has ever seen. Cake is ready. Makeup on. And Justin Bieber decorations are up. Why are you so beautiful? I can't wait to marry you. Ding dong! They're here! Mom! Mom! Gosh! Oh, get it! I really hope it isn't Bridget. My mom made me invite her. I mean, she invited the entire grade. Just please don't be Bridget. Please don't be Bridget. Please don't be Bridget. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Amber. Can we come in? We? Pepita, you've decided to come too. The spirits told me this party would create a spirit of dark energy. So cool! So this is my house, and Justin Bieber. What is this link of strawberries and wildflowers? Ew! It's the smell of love! Look, no one made you come. My mom made me. Our moms may be best friends, but we're not. My dads love each other, and it smells nothing like this. Do you have this central storage space? A what? The closet in the middle of your home. There's one right over there. I need to meditate in darkness. Girlhood sleepovers are a rite of passage with facials and secrets and special guests. Unfortunately for Amber, though, the facials burn her friend's skin. The secret is the identity of the pool boy upstairs. And the special guest is Aunt Flo. The only thing crazier than this is me, off my ADHD meds, hosting tea parties for my action figures. So, grab your Justin Bieber invitations and keep 911 on speed dial and join us in the Sleepover from Hell by J.A. Maccabee. This is going to be the greatest party ever, and no one is going to stop that from happening. Ding dong! That's probably someone who will actually enjoy my party. Hi, Abby! Ew. Don't talk to me. Please tell me this isn't the entire party. My mom made me come. No, we have more people coming. Some of the most awesome people in the 4th grade. And Pepita's here too. Oh, great. Where's Satan's love child? She's in the closet. That's funny. I always thought Bridget would be the one in the closet. I'll get it. You're in the 3rd grade. I got wind of the party from another source, and I thought I'd come by to see what you girls are doing. Polly, you need to leave. But I brought you guys presents. They're my mom's Louis Vuitton purses. I was like, totes wrong about you, Patty. Polly. You guys are going to be so excited. I found a great recipe for facials and a hair treatment.
I'm a little less sure about the hair, though. I may need a guinea pig to test that on. I'll do anything for you! I know. Well, we're all going to get facials and a hair treatment, so any questions? Ooh, I got one! I don't want to do it. And what about Pepita? Her skin hasn't seen the sun in 3,000 years. Look, I say we just leave Pepita in the closet. Well, I'm just gonna check on her to see if she's okay. Don't! She's gonna kill us! Mom! What's going on down there? I heard a scream. Are you chiquitas okay? I thought I told you to stay upstairs. Aren't you the guy who has sleepovers with my dads every week? Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. The spirits tell me you are lying. Enrique doesn't lie. Okay, that's it. No more locking people in closets. Okay, I think it's time we start preparing the cream for the facials. Your mommy's face kind of looks like plastic. I can make your face look like a Picasso painting. Really? I don't believe you. Well, if you aren't going to harness this dark energy, I will. Does anyone have the lighter? Find a box upon this house. You are so weird. And a curse on you too. Guys, does anyone want any cake? No, it's okay. I'm trying to watch. I was hoping this party was going to be my chance to get my foot in the door with the cool crowd. So is that why you're trying to wear makeup? I guess. Hey, is it hot in here? No, it's pretty cool. My face is burning! Bridget, are you okay? I'm gonna kill her! Bridget, stop. We got a problem! Abby, did you cut yourself? What? No, I don't think so. Curses are real, holy shit! Hello, 911, we have a girl over here who is cursed. She's bleeding randomly. What? There's no adults except for Amber's mom, who's upstairs with Enrique the pool boy. But we think there's dark spirits and got rashes all over our faces. What? Yes, his name is Enrique. Come quick, we need your help. Lesson learned today. Never insult Satan. This is the police. I know nothing. Is your mom home? This ain't my house. It's Amber's. But she's helping Abby clean up the blood that was running down her leg after she was cursed. Didn't you say there was an Enrique upstairs with the missus? Uh-huh. We're here to arrest Enrique Gonzalez. What's going on down there? Enrique Suave, as you may know him, has been parading around as a pool boy in attempts to steal identities and credit card numbers. Enrique? How could you? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, drop the fake accent, Enrique. Cling, cling. No! Ooh. And, ma'am, do you have any idea why the girls called 911? They're just kids having fun. No! They called 911 because one of them started their menstrual cycle. I suggest talking to the girls. Good day, ma'am. Don't say anything. What about the curse? There is no curse. It's called a period. I thought that was a class in high school. That's enough for one day. Come on, you guys. I just want to go to bed and pretend this never happened. Hey, Amber. I'm really sorry about your party. It's okay. I wanted a cool party with cake and makeup, though. But I have a feeling I'll remember this one for a while. But I thought you said there was no way we would ever be friends. Well, I guess I grew up a little tonight. So, are we friends? We are friends.
Thank you, Catherine. Next up, we have Riley Candle in informative speaking. Riley has earned herself numerous top novice awards and top ranks in info throughout this season. She's also advanced to semifinal rounds both at Ohio and national. Hands together for our freshman, Riley Candle, and her original piece, Beyond the System.
Right here is good. When you think about your childhood core memories, so many different events might come to mind. Like you might think about your 10th birthday party. You know, the one where your dad shoved cake in your face. Or you might think about that time that your family took you on a trip to Myrtle Beach, and you got to swim in the ocean for your very first time. But one of my childhood core memories that I would say impacted me the most is not so happy. It took place when I was 6. It was around 8 o'clock at night, and my sister and I were fast asleep in our beds when our mom woke us up. She took us out to the living room, and I remember sprawling out on the couch, waiting for what I thought was going to be some type of surprise. And then my dad walked over and told us something that brought that thought I'd had to a crashing halt. The 2 kids that we've been fostering for around 7 months now went to their grandma's for a visit and weren't coming back. This was devastating news to a 6-year-old me. The 2 kids that I considered my sister and brother were gone, and I would never see them again. Even later, when I would learn the full story, it never erased the fact that I never got to say goodbye. Unfortunately, this is one reality of the foster care system. But the good news is, there are so many other paths this story can take, and most of them are positive. So today, first, we will go through how the foster care system conducts. Next, we will dive into the details of the social life of a foster kid. And finally, we'll explore 2 stories of how the foster care system can be taken advantage of and how it is meant to be used, not abused. To begin, let's start to talk about how the foster care system actually works. First, there has to be a report of concern, which can be submitted by anyone who suspects negligence or abuse in a household. Even though anyone can submit a report, as stated by the U.S. Department of Children and Youth, there are certain reporters that are mandated, such as clergy, educators, and certain types of government employees. Once the report of concern is sent in, a social worker has to petition to court to remove a child from the home. and if this petition is granted, a child can be placed. So, you may ask, who can the kid be placed with? Well, according to Allies for Children, the first option for child placement is a relative or a close family friend. Going down from there, the next best option is a traditional foster care home. The next option is a group home, where a kid would be living alongside other children and being cared for by staff. And lastly, if all else fails, a kid can be sent to a temporary shelter while they wait to be moved to a more permanent home. Once this step is completed, a case plan is developed. A set of actions laid out so that anyone who is involved in a child's journey can know what is coming next. And when a kid settles into their temporary homes, the court will start to regularly review the child's placement for signs of stability via a caseworker, and visits with the kid's biological parents will be installed. And finally, once you're through with all of this, a kid can achieve permanency by being reunited with their family, being adopted, or aging out of the foster care system entirely. Children in foster care often have a hard time with their education because of the rough circumstances they were thrown into. For example, as stated by the U.S. Department of Children and Youth, foster kids are at a high risk of dropping out of school and are unlikely to attend or graduate from college. Because of the fact that they move around so much, achieving a solid education can be difficult. For example, at one school, they may be learning the basics of algebra equations. And when they move to another, they might be 4 chapters ahead and be learning how to complete highly complex problems. Algebra is hard enough to do as it is, right? Now just imagine not being taught how to solve a simple problem before you are thrown into the Unit 3 test. Academics aren't the only school-related thing that children in foster care often struggle with, however. They also find it difficult to have much of a social life. When foster kids move schools, they leave behind the only friends they have and are forced to start all over again in a new environment. To add to this, according to Very Well Mind, among the 40% of teens in foster care, up to 80% of them show behavioral or mental health issues. Having a problem like this can also make it increasingly difficult to find friends in a completely new school. Even though this problem exists, some kids can still strive in their academics and their social life. According to Bloom, one way to achieve this goal is instead of praising them for their intelligence, praise them for their efforts. The article states, the scores of teens who were praised for their intelligence dropped by 20%, while the scores of teens who were praised for their efforts increased by 30%. As stated by Richard Wexler, director of the National Virginia-based Coalition, we constantly say that we are moving children from danger to safety, but often it is the other way around. Usually, foster care is used as a refuge for children in abusive and harmful homes. But as stated in this quote, there are several instances where this is just not the case. For example, in the article, Brothers Find Foster Care a Cure Worse Than the Disease, a pitiful story is revealed about 2 boys, only 4 and 6 years old, who were sent into the system after their mother was found to be facing eviction and feeling depressed and suicidal. The boys were each placed with a newly registered foster parent, Christine Key, who after time grew more and more agitated with the kids' behavioral issues. According to a criminal complaint, at the end of their stay with Christine, the boys were each covered in 50 to 75 injuries, including scabs, sores, bruises, and welts. And later, x-rays would show bone fractures, which uncovered multiple different instances of abuse and violence towards these boys. On one occasion of abuse, it is found that Key originally became angry with the older boy for not eating his food fast enough. In Key's mind, this action was bad enough to result in a beating. The kid reported that his foster mom struck him with an extension cord and a baseball bat. Later that same day, when Key was sent to court for her actions, her attorney would state, the boy's behavior would have been challenging for any adult. But this does not excuse physically abusing a child so young. Both of these boys were told that they could place their trust into this woman, and she turned around and broke a lot more than just their trust. All of this trauma can cause a lifetime of mental instabilities, and according to the article, one investigator even states, the boys are scarred for life. Though there truly are a plethora of stories where foster care is used as a threat to these children, the good news is there are so many more where it is used as a haven instead of said threat. There is a story published by The Call that illustrates the life of a girl who went into the system after being abused, consuming drugs, and becoming a teen mom while she was under the supervision of her mom and her mom's lover. When she gave birth to her first child at the ripe age of 16, she went to live with her second foster home of 2 Christian parents, which the author would state is life-changing. These parents taught her how to love like God loves and showed her what a real family feels like. Even though this woman had a very rough childhood, with the right foster home, she managed to get back up on her feet. This story can show us that just with one person's help, a whole life can be changed. So, in technical terms, foster care is a temporary, court-monitored service provided by states to promote the safety, permanency, and well-being of children and youth. But in reality, foster care is so much more than this. And while I have shared some troubling stories with you today, I urge you to realize that most of those stories are positive. But foster care doesn't only affect the kids in the system, however. I know I was very impacted by having to welcome kids into my home, and it definitely will continue to affect me throughout the rest of my life. Though I was too young to understand it then, when I was 6, and helping my family foster kids, I was actually creating a safe space for those children to express themselves and to therefore learn how a real family should love. Thank you.
All right, folks, some technical difficulties. Just give me one moment. All right, our next performers are freshmen Blake Eric and Hiram Killermeyer in duo interpretation. These two have received top novice awards at 8 tournaments this season and qualified to the state tournament. Please put your hands together for Blake and Hiram performing the classic, The Sandlot.
I moved to the neighborhood about a month before school let out. I was from a different state and didn't have a single friend in 1,000 miles. It was a pretty lousy way to end up the 5th grade, because I had zip time to make friends before summer. And that's when it all started.
Shh, honey, I don't want you sitting here all summer fiddling with the stuff like you did last summer and the one before that. I want you to go outside in the fresh air, make some friends, climb trees, hop fences, get in trouble for crying out loud. But not too much. You have my permission. Now, how many mothers do you think say that to their sons?
None mothers, I guess.
Maybe you'll make some friends tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
Wanna go? One extra guy wanna go?
No thanks, I'm good.
Why not? Don't you like baseball?
Yeah, but
But what?
my glove's busted.
I got an extra one. Gotta stop at the 5 and 10 for we need a new ball and chaw and stuff, you know?
Yeah,
You dip chaw?
sure, of course.
Hey, look at me, I'm the great Bambino.
Who's that? Think back to your childhoods for a second.
If you can even think that far.
Dude, that's your mom.
Oh my goodness gravy, I'm so sorry.
All jokes aside, me and Blake have moved around a lot in our lives.
Hiram has been to 4 different schools, and I've been to 2.
And every time we had to put ourselves out there, just like how Scotty puts himself out in one of the most dangerous places possible.
A baseball field.
When Scotty finally finds his friends, they're always there for him, just like how we're always there for each other.
Which is something I hope you can have someday.
Hey, did you just say they don't have friends?
No,
You're killing me, Smalls.
The Sandlot
by David Mickey Evans.
were you born in a barn, man?
Yeah, what planet you from? You never heard of the Sultan of SWAT?
The Titan of Terror?
The,
Colossus of Clout? The King of Crash!
I had no idea who they were talking about, but I could not let them know that. So I lied. The Great Bambino. I thought you said the Great Bambi.
That wimpy deer?
Yeah, I guess, sorry.
This is Kendon Nunez, Alan McClellan, we call him Yaya. Hamilton Porter, we call him Ham. Tommy and Timmy Timmons, they're twins. Bertram Grover Weeks and Mike Squints Palladorus. He's Scott Smalls.
Hi.
He's gonna play for us. He makes 9 guys, now we got a full team. Why'd you beg him for, Benny? Because we have 8 guys and he makes 9. Yeah, so have my sister, but I didn't bring her.
It's stupid, Benny. This kid's an L7 weenie.
Yeah, Oscar Mayer even.
Oh yeah, Squints, and you're Willie frickin' Mays.
No, but I'm, you know.
Part of the game. How come he don't get to be? Hey, you can throw the ball back, you know.
No, I can't. I should really just go.
You think too much. I bet you it's straight A's and shit, huh?
No, I got a B once. Actually, it was an A minus, but it should have been a B.
Listen, this is baseball. Stop thinking, have fun. You ever the paper route?
I helped the guy.
Throw the ball like you chuck a paper. When your arm gets here, just let it go.
How do I catch?
Just stand there, stick your glove in the air. I'll take care of it.
Though he seemed like a regular guy, he wasn't. Benny was special.
Smalls, get one!
Please catch it, please catch it. I'll get it. Wait, stop! What are you doing, man? You could have been killed. Yeah, what are you thinking?
You can't go back there, Smalls.
What? Why not?
The beast.
Want a s'more?
S'more what?
No, do you?
Want a s'more?
I haven't had anything yet. How do I have more of nothing?
You're killing me, Smalls. Look, these are s'more stuff. First, you take the graham. You put the chocolate on the graham. Hershey's, of course. You hold the chocolate on the graham while you roast the mallow. Then when the mallow's flaming, you stick it on the chocolate and cover it with the other red. Then you scarf. Kinda messy, good though.
Now, quiet. The legend of the beast goes back a long time, back to a place called Myrtle's Acres. The beast belonged to a man named Mr. Myrtle, the guy that used to own Myrtle's Acres junkyard. The stuff there was worth a fortune, so one day, Mr. Myrtle decided to get himself his new pup from the pound, which is exactly what he figured he needed to protect his junkyard, because people kept breaking in and stealing stuff in the night. In a few months, the pup grew into a beast. He grew as big as a car, and he grew mean, and he had one thing on his mind: to kill. And he did, and he liked it. After a while, the police started getting calls from the people, reporting all the missing thieves. It added up to about 37 guys, but they never found a body. But we know what really happened. The beast ate them bones and all. The police told Mr. Myrtle he had to chain him up. Mr. Myrtle asked, how long? Forever. Whoa, Benny, maybe 2 or 3 guys in his river busted the guts out of a ball.
It's only noon, and I just blew the whole day for us. Now we can't play no more.
Yeah, we can.
What, you got 90 extra cents just lying around at home, Smalls?
No, but I got a ball. I got it. Let's play.
Your ball, your ups. Get out of here. Who's got the big bat now, boys? Maybe the shock of his first homer was just too much for him.
We gotta get that ball back. Sure, we'll just hop over and say, excuse me, Mr. B, sir, can we have our ball back? Oh, and please don't kill us while we're here.
It was a great shot, but forget about it. Game's over. We'll get another ball.
No, you don't understand. That wasn't my ball. It's my stepdad's. We have to get back. He'll kill me. Where'd your old man get that ball? What? I don't know. Some lady gave it to him. Yeah, even signed her name on it. Some woman named Ruth. Baby Ruth.
Babe Ruth! The great Bambino?
That's the same guy.
Like Hercules, that ball's worth more than your whole life.
We gotta get that ball back. Shh. Benny, you don't have to do this.
Yeah, I do, Smalls. I have to. Hello?
Well, sir, we
hit a baseball into your yard and we try to get it back, and why don't you boys come in? We can talk about baseball. This is an old ball, boys. Really old.
Yeah, it is.
You sound upset, son. What's wrong?
Well, that ball, it's signed by Babe Ruth.
I'll make you a deal. You come over once a week, talk about baseball. I'll trade you balls. That's really kind, sir, but that ball really is signed by the Babe. So it's, this one, too. And the rest of the 1927 Yankees. Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, they're all there.
It's weird how Benny said that Babe Ruth was like the Hercules of baseball, and then the beast's name wound up being Hercules. Some people might call it a coincidence, but looking back at it all now, I know that everything's connected, just like me and Benny. That was the last summer we ever got to play together, but it would stick with us forever. Thank you.
All right, next up we have the members of our state Congress team. They are Taylor Wells, Drake Mima, Senior Gage Martin, Senior Joseph Nadozier, and Owen Risco. All 5 of them broke to the semifinal this past weekend with our state record holder, Gage, placing second at the state tournament. They will be doing a mini round of debate for you this evening over a bill to ban super PACs. Please put your hands together for our Congress team.
A bill to limit super PAC spending in federal elections. Be it enacted by the Congress here assembled that Section 1, super political action committees or super PACs shall be prohibited from spending more than $5 million in independent expenditures in support of or in opposition to any single federal candidate in any single election cycle. Section 2, a super political action committee shall be defined as any independent expenditure, only political committee, permitted to raise unlimited funds under federal law. Independent expenditure shall be defined as any advocacy for the election or defeat of a federal candidate that is not coordinated with said candidate or their respective political party. Expenditure includes, but is not limited to, digital and mail advertising, opposition research, voter targeting, lobbying, etc. Election cycle shall be defined as the period beginning the day after a federal general election and ending the day of the next federal general election. Section 3, the Federal Election Committee, or FEC, shall enforce this legislation by requiring super PACs to file monthly expenditure reports. Part A, any super PAC found to exceed Section 1's spending limit shall be fined an amount equal to 200% of the excess amount. Part B, repeated violations may result in the suspension of the committee's registration for the remainder of the election cycle. Section 4, the legislation shall take effect beginning with the first federal election cycle occurring at least 1 year after passage. Section 5, all laws in conflict with this legislation are hereby declared null and void. We'll now entertain a first affirmative speaker. All affirmative speakers, please rise. Representative Martin.
I thank the chair. Hello, everyone. My name is Representative Martin. This is my first time speaking today, first time in this legislative session. I'll be given the sign of readiness from those that are above me. I'm the proud affirmation of this bill. Thank you. President Donald Trump says that he's not an emperor. I disagree, because he has too many similarities with my favorite Star Wars villain, Emperor Palpatine. I mean, think about it. They're both old and wrinkly, they both love the color red, and both own the Senate. It's that senatorial corruption that forces you to pass my bill today for two key reasons. First, it breaks up foreign super PACs. And second, it destroys the incumbency advantage, which brings us to our first contention, that forcing large super PACs, especially foreign ones, to disband into smaller ones reduces their influence back home in the United States. According to the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft, in 2024, foreign PACs alone spent $14 million per candidate from sea to shining sea. Now, regulation against such action, especially that made against foreign PACs, isn't new. In fact, Congress passed the Federal Election Campaign Act of 1971, but it fell short because it only made individual contributions from foreign nationals illegal, not foreign companies and super PACs. Pass my bill to further that at a time where it might matter most. Because according to the Council on Foreign Relations, on October 23rd of 2024, the United States is currently at risk now, more than ever, of foreign coercion inside of our elections, which takes the power of electing our officials away from the American people and towards foreign interest groups, a forced choke on American democracy. Which brings us to our second contention, that this bill directly allows youth inside of politics because super PACs love to spend on incumbents. It's more bang for their buck because they get elected more. Now, when we break that down, we allow for better representation of the youth on Capitol Hill. According to the Federal Election Committee themselves, just last year, the past election cycle, super PACs spent $4 billion per chair in the Senate alone on incumbents. That is a huge disadvantage for anyone wanting to join politics to better represent their people back home. The National Public Radio, on March 5th of this year, provides the solution. They argue that when super PACs are broken up and that funding gap is bridged, the odds of a newcomer being elected to any seat from sea to shining sea rises by over 30%. Meaning that passing today allows young newcomers to take up their blue lightsabers and kill the Jabba the Hutts of Congress. Excuse me, Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, I apologize. So, representatives, we passed my bill today for 2 key reasons. First, it ensures that American democracy and the way we elect our officials are determined by us and not someone sees away. And second, it guarantees that young individuals, like those that you've seen on stage and will throughout the rest of the night, get their voice heard, both here and in Washington. Pass.
We will now allow for a questioning block. All questioners, please rise. Representative Mima.
Great speech, Representative. I just want to ask you one question.
Of course.
So, you talk about this bill limiting foreign super PACs. What about the super PACs that are on American soil? How does this bill affect them?
We look forward to my second contention for that. We see that all super PACs, due to their innate inequities inside of American democracy, are bad. When we break them up into smaller PACs, we reduce their influence in American elections, allowing for more American and younger candidates to attain seats in Congress.
So, Representative, how is supporting the political person that you believe is the right choice bad?
Absolutely. Every American has freedom of speech. They also have freedom to spend their money wherever they want to. There's one key issue, though. When individuals are louder and much more funded than others, the voices and opinions of common people are reduced, an innately undemocratic part of our country.
So, Representative, don't you believe that the lack of funding that's going to go towards these campaigns is going to negatively affect these political opponents?
I don't think any politician anywhere in the United States needs $4 billion to be reelected. Point blank.
Thank you, Representative.
Representative Ndozie.
Amazing speech, Representative. I just have a few questions.
Of course.
Would you agree that super PACs do more than one thing?
Yeah, they have several different purposes.
And would you agree one of them is giving money directly to the leaders?
Like to individual politicians?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if the bill's majorly talking about stopping the campaign, how are we stopping that one too?
So this bill specifically is focused on campaigns. If your concern is about that financing moving to lobbying...
So it's just going to increase that aspect of...
Absolutely not. Because we have other laws and regulations around when lobbying can happen, to what amount is spent, and to who it can go to.
So we're saying it's not going to increase that, it's going to keep... If they limit their spending on one cap, it's not going to increase on the other front.
I'm saying at the very least, all of that spending is monitored and regulated under our current system.
And would you agree that it could also break, if they could just go through other super PACs to spend the amount of money if they...
Absolutely not. Because this issue is large conglomerated super PACs. When we break them up, smaller PACs have less influence, making our system more democratic.
Would you also agree that that's harder to track the money?
Absolutely not.
Could you explain why it's not?
Well, it's the FEC's entire job. This bill directly allows funding directly to them to allow and facilitate for such expenditure to look into these now smaller PACs that have been broken up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The chair now seeks a speaker in the first negation. All negation speakers, please rise. Representative Risco.
I thank the chair. Hello, everyone. I'm Representative Risco. That is spelled R-I-S-K-O for those who wish to know. This is my first time speaking today, first time this legislative session, and I'll wait till I get a sign of readiness from all those above me. Good. And from my adoring fans in the audience, good. All right. In biology class, I used to do a lot of labs, so I know quite a bit about bacteria. However, in the macroscopic world, we have our own kind of bacteria, super PACs. They sneak into every nook, cranny, and crevice of our political system and ultimately poison our constituents. Which is why we must fail this piece of legislation today, as it will only create more super PACs and as it is not harsh enough. Now this brings me on to my first contention. It will just create more PACs. Now, in the biology lab, one of my biggest fear was seeing bacteria multiply. It always weirded me out thinking about how 1 second there's 1, and then the next there's 10, 20, and 30. But under this piece of legislation, if passed, it will only facilitate super PAC and PAC mitosis. Now, let me set the stage for you. According to NPR just 2 years ago, billions of dollars have been spent on the 2024 election. This amount of money has had a major effect on the campaigns of both candidates, forcing them to focus on issues that aren't necessarily at the hearts of their constituents and more so at the hearts of the businesses. And this is ultimately atrocious. We should be focusing on our constituents' needs, not the businesses. But unlike Representative Martin's arguments, which stand on theory, allow me to stand on historical precedents. According to the Missouri Independent, which stated just last year, most lobbying groups have multiple PACs, allowing one single donor to avoid the spending limit. In the status quo, we see that one large spender who has been inhibited by our legislation will just break down into many smaller organizations, meaning any of that money that we want to see disappear will just remain and go straight back to the people that it wants to go back to. There will be no change under this legislation. So let's fail it. Now, allow me to go on to my second contention. This just isn't harsh enough. Whenever I need to kill bacteria, I always use the most efficient, harsh, and chemical cleaning agent I can have my hands on. But Representative Martin, who spearheads the AF, thinks a splash of water is okay. Let's look back to our bill. According to Section 1, super political action committees shall be prohibited from spending more than $5 million in independent expenditures. Now, I'm sorry, Representatives, but the average American doesn't have $5 million to go throwing around in some political campaign. Their influence will still get completely blown away. The cleaning agent that this bill is a complete failure in eradicating the problem. Look to our own Ohioan race with 13 Action News stating Ohio's U.S. Senate race between Senator Sherrod Brown and businessman Bernie Moreno saw $540 million spent on ads and other independent expenditures. Now, Representatives, as I've already established, the money will still be there. The $5 million cap is not enough. With the sheer amount of super PACs that will just break down into much smaller PACs, that money will remain. $540 million that the American people can never work to counter. The American people who we need to care about the most will still be left in the dust, even if this bill is passed, solely because it is not harsh enough of a cleaning agent. A little bit of water cannot wash away the entire problem that is super PACs. So, allow me to conclude my argument one final time. Although Representative Martin might be a genius, this little experiment that came out of his mind is a complete failure. So, we fail as it will just create more super PACs and as it's not harsh enough. Thank you.
There will now be a questioning block. All questioners, please rise. Representative Mima.
Hello, Representative.
Great speech, Representative. I just have a couple questions for you.
Of course.
So, firstly, I want to start off asking you, are there benefits to super PACs?
Well, certainly. However, in the status quo, we see that the sheer amount of money that they're able to spend is overpowering Americans'
Right,
influence.
the sheer amount of money they're able to spend, and this bill limits that, yes?
Yes, but here's the issue. It's not limiting it enough. The average American cannot pull together $5 million. So despite what Representative Martin on the AF may tell you, that limit just isn't enough.
But won't this still at least limit the $4 billion that Representative Martin was talking about?
I'm sorry, but no. As I established with my first contention, which is based on historical precedents, they will just split down into smaller groups, meaning that money will still remain and it will still go to the same people.
So, Representative, wouldn't that necessarily be illegal if too much money is being spent?
No, because like I said, they are avoiding the spending limit by breaking down into multiple PACs. So therefore, the $5 million limit would apply to all of them. It's based in the legislation itself.
Representative, even if there's smaller super PACs, won't those big ones be shut out and other people, like people that can't afford this, still be able to shine in a situation?
Absolutely
like that
not.
election?
You're misinterpreting. So, like I said, this large pool of money will just go to 50 smaller super PACs, each with a spending limit of $5 million. $5 million times 50 is still a lot of money, representatives.
Thank you, Representative.
Representative Nadozier.
Great speech. I just have a couple questions.
Thank you.
Okay. Would you say that it's going to be harder for them to break down these super PACs?
Not at all. There's no laws currently limiting the breaking down of super PACs.
So you're saying they can easily just go by 5 million exactly and get it every single time?
Well, I'm saying that they can split down very easily.
So you're saying it's going to be very easy for them to get the 5 million and then just easily get it every single time? That's my question, not if...
Yes, exactly. The money will still be there, like I proved to you in my first contention.
So you're saying it's not automatic. It's always going to be like, they can somehow always get that amount of money that quickly.
With this legislation that we have in hand, we can't do anything to counter it because this legislation is poorly written.
But won't you say that even 50 small ones better than one huge one being in command of everything?
No, because those 50 small ones were still under the organizational leadership.
They have less percentage of everything.
No, because, as I said, big super PACs break down into 5 smaller ones. Therefore, the 5 smaller ones still have the same policy objectives, meaning that money is still going to go to the same candidate that the bigger one wanted to support.
But I'm asking, so it's not all one shell company again. We're trying to break it down. Isn't smaller ones better than just one huge one? That's my main question here.
It is absolutely not better.
So you're saying that's going to be the same either way?
Yes, this legislation is poorly written and will not do anything to change the status quo. It will not help American constituents like Representative Martin claims it will.
Sure, thank you.
Of course.
Representative Martin.
Sure.
Hello, Representative.
Hello. Okay, so the direct wording of the bill allows individual expenditures and super PACs to be capped at $5 million, correct?
Correct.
So regardless of where that money comes from, that cap per individual is still $5 million, correct? Per the bill.
Per the bill, yes.
Sure. So this isn't any large breaking down of one person spreading his long arms into different things if they're capped individually at $5 million, correct?
Not necessarily, because you could always just put new heads as these smaller PACs, Representative.
So it's your belief that millionaires are going to prop up other millionaires to do their building that will then do other millionaires and so on and so forth?
Obviously, Representative, if a millionaire wants to influence policy, they will do it in any way they can. That is just the status quo.
You said that we don't have any laws regarding this. Is that not the current FEC's entire job?
Okay, when I said there aren't any laws regarding this, I mentioned in regards to the splitting up of PACs into smaller ones. So while it is the FEC's job, they aren't doing it good enough.
But there is regulation regarding the breaking down of super PACs and then the influence of those super PACs inside of elections, both domestic and foreign, correct?
Not necessarily, because even if there is, it's not good enough, and therefore we can act as if it doesn't exist.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Joseph plans to attend the University of Akron to study cybersecurity. Gage plans to attend the University of Akron to study history and law in hopes of becoming an attorney.
As our next next we have freshman Nash Simmons. Nash competes in humorous interpretation and has seen breakout success this season. Despite being a first-year member of our team, Nash has made 7 separate stage appearances this season and is qualified to the Nighthawk tournament later this year. Please put your hands together for Nash Simmons, performing Sleeping Freshmen Never Lie.
First day. First day of a new chapter, a new life. First day of high school. I was a freshman, fresh meat, fresh blood. All I knew was that our whole lives were about to change. Okay, so any idea what it'll be like? The movie. As always. Boring and stupid. Girls! Hundreds of them! Like we have a chance with them. I know the seniors snuggle the hot girls. Not when I'm around. Girls melt when I get near them. That's very, straight. Think they'll be hard? Oh, who cares? You just have to show up in your past. Okay, well, one for all and all for one? Is that like a Marine slogan? You could hear these guys stuck together no matter what. But there's 4 of us. Perfect, there were 4 of them too. Stupid, somebody together. You bet. It's gonna be fine. High school. Wait! I'm gonna rule this place. One for all, and all for me. For me. Freshmen. Unbelievable. Fresh. Definitely. Men. Not quite. Starting a chapter in life can be difficult. Believe me, I know. Before I started my freshman year of high school, I thought of myself as a cool kid. Then the school year began. It turns out playing high school marching band, being an obsessed theater kid, and having an is not that. Scott goes through similar struggles. He too thinks of himself as a cool kid. That is until his first day at Zanger High. He has to deal with girls, bullies, like any other teenager, fitting in, and an unconventional family. He has to rely on his equally awkward friends to make his way through his freshman year of high school. Sleeping Freshmen Never Lie by David Lubar. Okay, so some things I learned on my first day. 1, stay away from seniors. And it's probably a good idea to just avoid sophomores too, since most of them just want revenge for what happened to them when they were freshmen. Oh, and 3, don't get on a bus. Even if it means catch a ride from a stranger with a chainsaw. Hell, high school is definitely it. Yeah. It sucks you stand in the way of the senior, though. It's okay. God, here comes the mouth. See ya. What's the big time? It's so cool, it's so cool. Yep. Got another. Team Rice good. One time it was great. Have you ever had coffee? It's really not that bad when you put enough sugar in it. I love coffee! That's wonderful. Wait, whoa, it's Julia. Julia Baskins was the girl of my dreams. Man, was she hot and smart and watch and learn. You look different. Right. I had to get more. I knew. See, what they're doing like crazy. What's better for me? It gets you lunch, it's kind of a waste because your logo's wet. I mean, what if they did? Imagine that, drawing your own sweat. That's weird. That's so weird. Gross. She was gorgeous. I never had a chance. Anyway, on top of having a crappy first day, I had to go home to my family. My family was, well, different. Mom, I'm home. Don't you worry. I had easier time at school than your brother Bobby did. Oh, Bobby, shush. Boop. Well, son, you're acting weird. Did you, get a girl pregnant? No? Good. Accidents happen. A Gucci goo. A Gucci, 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 Gucci. My media video from the ceiling with that puke and the background noise of constant crying. In order to get this baby nonsense out of my head, my friends and I spent the next few months focused solely on fitting in. We even tried joining different clubs to try and make new friends. That didn't go so well. Hi, I'm Patrick, and I'd like to join the school newspaper. Student council. Vote for your friends. Vote for Mouth. I'm Kyle, and I'd like to join the school wrestling team. I think it'll help me get a little closer with my classmates. Yes. Yes? I let out my first note, then my second, which was completely unrelated to my first. A table saw. My voice cracked and didn't stop cracking until the painful end. Next. Like in crayons dipped in mayonnaise. I'm such an idiot. This high school wasn't gonna kill me. The seniors were. I felt like every time I turned a corner, there was a senior waiting there to bash my face in or take my lunch money. Well, that's not very nice. And, well, actually, pay up! We go to the same school. Can't we just be friends? Oh, I see. You're the strong, silent type. Huh, pay. Would you guys like to? Would suck to lose those teeth. Thanks, you guys. You really didn't have to do that. Like, one for all, remember? Remember? Yeah. And all for one. Some people step on freshmen. The others step on ants. I guess it was better to be a freshman than an ant. At least the seniors didn't have magnifying glasses. We ended up surviving the rest of my freshman year. Thank you.
As our next performer gets ready, we want to remind you of our ongoing Egg Your Yard fundraiser. Let's take the stress out of your Easter and make it excellent for your families. We love the chance to hide eggs in your yard the evening before Easter, so your kids, grandkids, family, friends, neighbors, whoever can wake up with some Easter magic and fun egg hunts Easter morning. Visit the Hometown app to sign up or ask one of the coaches in the back for more details. Next up is our Vice President, Senior Sabrina Capito, in informative speaking. Sabrina has placed in the top 6 at 9 tournaments this season, as well as quarterfinal of this year's state tournament. She's also qualified for both the upcoming tournaments of Nighthawk and Nationals in Richmond. Please note that this speech contains information about the dangers of sextortion. So please put your hands together for our Vice President, Sabrina Capito, presenting her informative speech about the dangers of sextortion.
Growing up, I loved to play with makeup. I actually used to copy my older sister while she did hers. Since I was too young for actual beauty products, I became quite inventive. I used things like chapstick instead of lipstick and a marker as blush. I even once tried to use a pencil to do eyeliner. Let's just say I'm lucky to still have both my eyes after that one. Eventually, I became old enough for real makeup, and a trip to Sephora was long overdue. Looking at all the products, though, I realized that, for some reason, it seemed like half of them alluded to sex. There I was, 13 years old, about to buy a Better Than Sex mascara and an orgasmic blush. The older that I got, the more I realized that sex wasn't just in the makeup aisle. It is woven into every aspect of our society. Sex on the beach drinks, slutty brownies, and even an American Eagle ad for jeans. There are so many references to sex in our everyday lives that we sometimes fail to see the danger in being so comfortable with it. When navigating social media with this normalized view of sex, teens may be unable to sense the threat of people willing to extort them. Sextortion is a fast-growing method of blackmailing adolescents, with the victim more than likely complying due to their shame. So today, we will first apply our base as we define sextortion and the laws that have been created to stop it. Next, we will contour our faces as we view personal stories from the victims, before finally spraying our faces with some setting spray as we examine the need-to-know information for friends, families, and victims. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, sextortion is extortion in which the perpetrator threatens to expose sexually compromising information unless the victim meets certain demands. In other words, a person, sometimes a group, will use manipulation to coerce the victim into sending sexually explicit photos or videos of themselves. They then use those photos and videos to blackmail the victim into complying with their requests. The Federal Bureau of Investigation states that this is often done by the perpetrator leading the victim to believe that they are communicating with someone their own age who may be interested in pursuing a relationship with them. Once the intended content is received, the perpetrators then use the victim's shame of the situation against them, usually by threatening to publish their photos online. That shame often prevents the victim from seeking help from caregivers and authorities. However, there are laws put into place to protect the victims and punish the extorters when the victims do choose to come forward. Laws vary by state, but sextortion is illegal in all of them. According to the Ohio House of Representatives, in January of last year, Braden's Law was signed. This law was named after Braden Marcus, who was a victim of sextortion himself. This law implies that if the person being extorted was a minor, disabled, or elderly, the punishment is a first-degree felony. Despite that, a dictionary and laws to protect the victims can never define just how many lives have been destroyed and even lost as a result of sextortion. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the total number of reports for financial sextortion skyrocketed from 11,000 reports in 2022 to nearly 27,000 in 2023. This is over double the amount of reports in just 1 year. In 2022, 17-year-old James Woods, who lived in Streetsboro, Ohio, just 45 minutes from where I live, died by suicide as a direct result of sextortion. A group based in Nigeria had convinced him to share explicit photos of himself by pretending to be a young girl his age. Once he had shared the photos, they then revealed that they wanted money in exchange for not posting his photos online. They had initially asked for $6,000. That number was later lowered to $300, but with only $100 in gift cards to give to his extorters, James was repeatedly threatened. USA Today states that there was an estimated 200 threats in less than 20 hours. After giving all of the money that he had, he then took his own life. 15-year-old Braden Marcus, who is the name behind Braden's Law, lived in Olentangy, Ohio. He took his life after only a 27-minute interaction. In half the time that a speech round takes, a child believed that their life was over and then took it. A law was named after him because his story should never be repeated. If that doesn't hit close enough to home, my best friend was a victim of sextortion. She was 13, and he had told her that he was 17. He used her family situation to paint himself as a reliable figure and requested an intimate FaceTime. Only later did she discover that he had taken screenshots of her and threatened to post them on illegal websites if she did not comply with his demands. That man never received any repercussions, and there may still be pictures of her up on these sites. There are so many victims whose stories deserve to be told, and these are just a few. So, what can we do to prevent this? And what if it has already happened? Well, if the event has already occurred, you can report the crime by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI or online through tips.fbi.gov. If you aren't ready for that, you can tell someone you trust that you're being exploited online and need help. Just know that no matter how embarrassing it may feel, there is support and resources available, and you don't have to go through this alone. The FBI also notes that you will not be the one in trouble in this situation. To prevent this from happening to you, the FBI encourages everyone to be selective about what they share online, and to remember that anyone can pretend to be anything. These requests can come in many different forms: a catfish, a fake modeling agency, or even flat out asking for photos in exchange for money and gift cards. Informing your child that this is a possible threat may prevent the problem from ever even happening. The National Crime Agency stresses that open-door, non-judgmental conversations with your child may ease the initial embarrassment of opening up about the situation. There is also the option of looking over the settings and permissions on devices, as well as on specific apps. Updating your privacy settings from public to private is a quick solution that could mean the difference between life and death. It is important to note that prevention is essential. It only took 20 hours for James Woods, 27 minutes for Braden Marcus. And throughout my research, I read story after story supporting that although there may be resources available to victims, the time to save them may not be. So today, we defined sextortion and the laws that have been created to stop it. We then got personal and viewed cases close to home. Finally, we examined what to do when sextortion happens and how to prevent it. Internet safety is widely known, but not as widely practiced. Although sexual references and innuendos from makeup brands, sweet treats, and advertisements most likely won't change, I hope this piece has shed light on just how dangerous it is to normalize sex being everywhere we turn. So for as long as predators continue to sit behind their screens, I will take a stand. Because a 13-year-old should be able to buy a mascara without it being better than sex.
It's been brought to my attention that I've been saying Sabrina's last name wrong the entire night. Thank you, Sabrina Capito, who expects to attend the University of Akron to study education with plans to become a high school English teacher.
All right, next up is junior Gabby Arndt in program oral interpretation. Gabby has received many top ranks and is placed at multiple tournaments, including semifinaling at a national district tournament. Gabby also qualified for our state tournament this season. Please note that this speech contains themes of grief and loss. Please put your hands together for Gabby performing Life's Robberies.
It's somebody's birthday. He's not here, love. I know you know. Do you feel he's still real? It's just not so. Why is it you still believe? Do you dream or do you grieve? You have to let him go. He's been gone 16 years. To fully inhabit grief is to hold the contradictions of the great mystery. The loss shatters us and we become whole. Grief empties us and we are filled with emotion. Fear paralyzes us. And we lend courage to another. We mourn our beloved absence. We invoke their presence and we cease to exist as we once were. And we become more fully human in doing so. We know the darkest of all nights can bring the lights of our loved ones back into the world. We are the paradox. We are the bearers of the unbearable. Do you want to hear a joke? What's a dog's favorite kind of pizza? Pepperoni. Okay, that one was kind of cheesy. Let me tell you one more. What do you never want to hear your veterinarian say? I'm sorry for your loss. That's what my family and I heard last fall. We didn't just lose one of our furry friends, we lost two, Diesel and Hilda. I lost two of my best friends in the matter of weeks. The grief was overwhelming. I felt numb. My family and I were all grieving so differently, but there was one thing we had in common. The grief we experienced showed how much we cared for the life that death robbed us of. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or a fur baby, a life that was taken from us. Using the pieces Next to Normal by Brian Yorkie and Tom Kitt, Bearing the Unbearable by Joanne Cocator, A Grief Absurd by C.S. Lewis, and You'll Be My Heart by Phil Collins. Life's Robbery. What exactly do you know? Do you wake up in the morning and need help to lift your head? Do you read obituaries and feel jealous of the dead? It's like living on a cliffside, not knowing when to dive. You don't know what it's like to die alive. The sensation that you're screaming, but you never make a sound. Or the feeling that you're falling, but you never hit the ground. You don't know what it's like to live that way, like a refuge, a fugitive forever on the run. If it gets me, it'll kill me. But I don't know what I've done. No one ever told me that grief is so much I fear. I'm not afraid, but the sensation is like being afraid. The fluttering in the stomach, the restlessness, the yawning I keep on swallowing. At other times, it's like being mildly drunk or concussed. There's a sort of invisible blanket between the world and I. I find it hard to take in what anyone says, or perhaps hard to want to take it in. Come stop your crying, it'll be all right. Just take my hand, hold it tight. I will protect you from all around you. I'll be here, don't you cry. I'm what you want me to be. I'm your worst fear. I am more than memory. I'm what might be. I am mystery. I am flame. I am fire. I'm destruction, decay, and desire. I'll hurt you. I'll heal you. I'm your wish, your dream come true. And I'm your darkest nightmare too. You can try to hide. You know that I'll find you. 'Cause if you won't grieve me, you won't leave me behind. For one so small, you seem so strong. My arms around you keep you safe and warm. This bond between us can't be broken. I'll be here. Don't you cry. This is not what we wanted. This is not what's planned. This is not what should be, but this is what we have. Even as our hearts whispers, no, no, no. And here we find ourselves feeling outcasted, lying face down on the ground or on bent and bloody knees with our arms stretched out, pleading for relief. I'll wake alone tomorrow, the dream our dances through. But now, until forever, love, I'll dream to dance with you. I'll dream my love, I'll live my love, and I'll die to dance with. Cause you'll be in my heart. Yes, you'll be in my heart. From this day on, now and forevermore. Just 18 months old, we ran him inside. So cold. The hospital room, the gloom, screaming at Dr. Scott. I was so upset. They said to wait. They never said we were too late. Those weeks full of joy. Then a moment of dread. Someone simply said, your child is... That was the moment my life was set. The day that I lost you. It's as clear as the day we met. How could I ever forget? 'Cause you'll be in my heart. Yes, you'll be in my heart. From this day on, now and forevermore. They told me that the wiring was somehow misfiring and screwing up the signals in my brain. And they told me that the chemistry, the juice, and other circuitry was mixing up and making me insane. What happens if the burn has healed but the skin has not regrown? What happens if the cast at last comes off and the break was always in another bone? What happens if the burn, the break, the cut was never in my brain or in my blood, but in my soul? My first psychiatrist told me that according to the manual, grief that continues past 6 months is pathological and should be medicated. 6 months for the life of my child. Who makes those decisions? Day after day, we find the will to find our way, knowing the darkest skies will someday see the sun, that there'll be light, and joy will be in my heart, always.
Just a few announcements before we have our next performance, Isaac, coming to the stage. First off, if you haven't had desserts yet, please stand up and grab some. My parents cannot eat them all by themselves, even though they would love to. Anyway, make sure to scan the QR code on your tables. Yeah, I'll be feeling that on the way home. Anyway, please make sure to scan the QR code on your tables and get your bids in for the different auctions that we have. And you can check the spreadsheet there as well to see what the bids are currently at. And I mean, who doesn't like the snow? On there, we have past 2 snow trails out in Mansfield, which is a great spot to snowboard or ski. And also, my speech and debate coach, Kayla, went out to the parking lot and told me that some of you guys desperately need your cars washed. Don't worry, we have a car wash basket as part of that raffle that you can, as part of that auction that you can go ahead and win. There's also lots of stuff for families of 4, for some great events this summer. So please, place a bid and support the team. Next up, we have junior Isaac Macbeth. Isaac competes in humorous interpretation and has been a joy to see compete this season. Isaac has received several top ranks and was the second alternate to the state tournament this year. Please put your hands together for junior Isaac Macbeth.
There's something important that I was supposed to do today. Something real important. It's Nudie Magazine Day. Here I come. Holy.
I've come to talk about my international VP, Billy. Billy.
Billy. I am sorry, Daddy.
I've come to talk about my international VP, Eric Gordon, and my assistant, Carl. Hey, Billy, looks like you got a little sun today.
You think so? I fell asleep by the pool for a couple hours. Did you fall asleep or did you pass out? Eric, shut up!
Billy.
Sorry, Daddy.
Billy, I've had to face a hard truth today. I was gonna give you, my only son, his daddy's company. But I realized that it's the stupidest thing I've ever said. So, I'm giving the company to Eric.
What? You're giving it to that phony piece of crap? I mean, I can work hard if I put my mind to it. I mean, I got through high school and that was a pain in my butt, but I still did it.
You got through high school because I paid off all your teachers. Am I gonna let someone who can't even get through high school by himself run my company?
No. But, Daddy, don't even think about it. Just, hand it to me. Billy. Oh, Daddy, give me one more chance. Please, Daddy, give me one more chance. Shut up! Please, Daddy, give me one more chance. Billy, wait. I'll go back to school. 2 weeks in each grade. I won't let you down.
That's some idea. You just think of it all by yourself?
Yes, I did, Daddy.
Lady. Let's face it, we can never get bored while watching my piece. But it's because I'm so handsome and good looking, right? Right? It's because I'm loud. Yeah. Let's face it, an idiotic-filled piece for an idiotic kid like me. Wait, I meant Billy Madison, a man on a mission, to prove that spelling couch is harder than it looks. And I would know. Billy Madison by Adam Sandler and Tim Hurley. Back to school to prove to my dad that I'm not a fool. I got my lunch backed up, my shoes tied tight. I hope that I don't get into a fight. Back to school. First grade. Okay, class. Today we have a new student. His name's Billy. He's special. Everyone give him a special hello. A story time. The Puppy Who Lost His Way by Chrissy Taylor. Once upon a time, there was a puppy who lost his way. Oh. But this was no ordinary puppy. His name was Happy. Oh, you know. But the puppy ran away, and the boy searched for him, and the puppy came home, and the boy said, "I missed you so much." I kissed him on his wet little puppy nose. The end.
Whoa, Miss Lippy. The part I don't like about the story is when the puppy lost his way. The boy didn't search for an hour or anything. He just didn't even put up posters. If I lost my dog, I wouldn't just search for an hour and give up. I'd get my butt outside and I'd find that dog.
Oh. Looks like it's time for dodgeball. Ow! Man, you're out. Oh, do your rules, dweeb.
Yeah.
Please, mister. I'm sorry.
Oh, do you? I sacrificed your blood for my savior, Lucifer. Now you're gonna get it.
Oh. Ow! Mommy.
Second grade.
Only 2 students left. I spell bath. B-A-T-H. Bath.
Bath? Why don't you just hand him the trophy? Bath? I mean, that's way too easy.
Now, Billy, if you spell this next one correctly, you move on to the next grade. I spell a couch.
Couch. C O R. Are you going to the mall later? That's what I was gonna say.
No, I'm not going to the mall later. I don't do malls. I keep spelling, mister.
U-C-H. Couch.
Correct.
Hallelujah. Third grade.
I think Mortal Kombat is the best game ever created on the Genesis.
Mortal Kombat sucks.
Well, what do you think is the best game?
I think Donkey Kong's the best game. Right?
Donkey Kong sucks.
You suck.
Ow! Mommy!
Now, Brian, I've been listening to you all day. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. Are you giving me this company or not? Ooh, no. Hey, Eric, how about me and you do this? Mano y mano. What's that supposed to mean? It means academic decathlon. Me, you, 10 events. You're on academic decathlon. Okay, since we got a generous donation from our public library, I was able to put this academic decathlon together. Let's begin. To be or not to be, that is the question. To be or to live to die, to sleep no more, and I sleep the heartache. It seems that Billy stays 1 point ahead. This is the last straw. Now, Billy, the Articles of Confederation affected a lot. Explain how it affected the modern world today. The puppy who lost his way. Oh, the puppy who lost his way. That is incorrect. I'm actually offended by how stupid that was. 0 points. 0 points. Eric. Explain business ethics. Business ethics. Ethics, business. Business ethics. Business ethics. Looks like it's gonna have to be. I was not finished. Whoa, Eric. You don't gotta do this. We did it your way, Billy. That question was no fair. It wasn't in the reading. I demand a reread. You lost. Face it. No. Hey, Daddy. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh. I'm so proud of you, Billy. I knew you could do it. Thanks, Daddy. I did. Are you sure this is what you want? I'm sure. Thank you.
Next up, we have junior Brody Brown, who competes in United States extemporaneous speaking. Brody has been in the top 10 placers at 11 tournaments. Brody has been a quarterfinalist at our state tournament and is qualified for both NITALK and Nationals later this season. Please put your hands together for Brody.
Oh, I couldn't hear myself. There we go. But we can see that there are quite a few historical figures whose careers aren't so lustrous. specifically the leaders, generals, and troops of the Confederacy during the Civil War in the 1860s. And considering that the History Foundation shares to us on October 12th of 2024 that there are still ideological effects felt from the Civil War in present-day America, we must address the historical question of today, being, should the United States commemorate Confederate figures from the Civil War? And the answer is unfortunately no. Because even though they're Americans, they're not my homeboys. And we can see why through three main ways. By firstly, analyzing how they are the ones who initiated the Civil War. Then, looking towards the immense cost that brought on to America. And finally, honing in on how the Confederacy wanted to perpetrate the practice of slavery. So, if Abraham Lincoln was still alive today, what do you guys think he'd be most known for? Probably his age. But we can see that one other thing that he is also famous for, aside from his iconic top hat, is his actions taken against the Civil War and his actions taken to prevent the war from starting before it even became a problem. Which is why we must look towards our first point, being the fact that the Confederacy was the very people who actually set the Civil War into action. It was shared by the U.S. Senate in a historical article published February 28th of 2025, where it was found that the Civil War started at 4:30 a.m. in 1861 on April 12th, when the Confederate troops fired their first shots on U.S. Fort Sumter, marking the beginning of a long, ruthless, and bloody war that rattled America to its core. However, we had strong leadership in place with former President Abraham Lincoln, who was able to fight strongly against this conflict. However, as we all know, it ended up happening anyways. But we can see just what actions Abraham Lincoln took against this conflict when it was shared by the Brookings Institute on July 11th of 2014. That Abraham Lincoln posted numerous last-ditch efforts to stop this war from happening in the first place. One such example being the Carwin Amendment, which proposed a freezing of slavery, which essentially would have stopped it from expanding in the United States, as well as stopping it from shrinking. This last-ditch effort was essentially a final attempt to appeal towards the Confederacy, or the Southern states, who heavily relied on slavery, as it was a critical part of their industry, economy, and culture. However, as we know, these last-ditch efforts unfortunately didn't work, and the Civil War still came to fruition, and along with it, a high amount of costs. So we see that, as you can imagine, the Civil War was incredibly costly for America. In fact, it cost us billions of dollars, almost as much as a tank of gas. But we see that this high cost is exactly why we must look towards our second point, being the incredibly high cost that America had to burden from the start of this war. It was shared to us by Reuters on July 3rd of 2011. That at the beginning of this conflict, the United States national debt sat at a manageable $65 million. However, at the end of this 5-year conflict, that national debt ballooned all the way up to $2.7 billion, marking a 4 million% increase in just 5 years of conflict. But we see that this incredible increase of our national debt had significant impacts, not only on our economy, but Americans, politics, and politicians as a whole. We can further see just how significant this price hike was when we look towards the fact that Abraham Lincoln was preparing the national defense budget for this potential conflict. We see in an article shared by the U.S. Senate once more on January 15th of 2023, it was found that in 1860, the year before this war, the national defense budget sat at $30 million. However, in the first year, Abraham Lincoln boosted it all the way up to $300 million, which in today's terms is nearly $12 billion, or 2 tanks of gas. So with that incredible increase in price of the U.S. defense budget, as well as our national debt, we inevitably had huge ramifications that still impact us today. And as you all know, the U.S. national debt continues to skyrocket. And so, considering the considering the financial burden, as well as the fact that the Confederacy were essentially traitors, it's clear that they should not be commemorated anymore. Now, I have a really important question for you guys. One even more important than the extent question I'm speaking on. What would Abraham Lincoln say if he saw there was a movie made about him where he was slashing vampires? What's a movie? However, there was one other thing that Abraham Lincoln was slashing that was just as sinister, that being slavery, which is why we look towards our third and final point, being the fact that the Confederacy wished to perpetrate slavery across the states. It was seen in an article published once again by Reuters on January 5th of 2011. It was found that one of the main dividing factors between the Union and a Confederacy, or the North and South, was issues over the use of slavery as well as participation in slave trade. Therefore, this divide pushed America further and further apart, and eventually led to action being taken by the Lincoln administration, and eventually continued to tear America's economy and culture to shreds. But we could further see just how deeply rooted slavery was within the South when it was shared once again by Reuters on January 15th of 2013. It was found that of the 9 million population of the Confederacy, 4 million of them, or 45% of their population, were slaves, indicating that slavery was a critical aspect of the Confederacy and thus something that they were more than willing to fight for. And eventually that drove America apart more than we have ever seen before. And so in rounding back to today's question of should the United States commemorate Confederate leaders from the Civil War, we saw the answer was no, because they're not my homeboys. And we saw why through 3 main ways. By firstly, looking towards the fact that they started the conflict, then focusing in on the immense financial burden, and finally looking towards the fact that they wish to perpetuate the use of slavery. And so going forwards, hopefully we continue to commemorate the good guys, like my homeboy Abe Lincoln and George W. Thank you.
Thank you, Brody. Now walking onto the stage, we have international extemper Micah Lowe. Micah has been a huge contributor to our team's success this season. His accolades include being a 3-time tournament champion, placing 3rd in the state, and qualifying the national tournament in Richmond, Virginia this upcoming June. Please put your hands together for Micah Lowe.
Thank you. In the true spirit of the Ohio Speech and Debate Association's state tournament, I think it's time that we address the weekend's overall theme, Ascent to Mount Olympus. This epic theme encompasses a couple of things. First, epic merchandise. Second, awesome decorations for the opening ceremony. And third, Herculean competition. However, competition can be found outside the realm of speech and debate, and in fact, it's becoming far too common. According to a research paper published by Geneva University on October 11th of 2024, there is an estimated 110 different cross-cultural conflicts going on in the world right now as we speak. And with that in mind, it becomes of the utmost importance that we ask today's Olympic question about just one of them. Is the ASEAN, or the Association for Southeastern Asian Nations, too disjointed to present a united front in confronting Chinese naval aggression? And the answer is clear, that these individual nations within Southeast Asia don't stand a chance in Hades of taking on the titan that is China. And we'll see why, based in 3 key ways. First, overall economic regression. Second, inferior physical capabilities. And third, and possibly most importantly, that international disputes continue to divide the nations. Beginning with my first, contention. The ancient Greeks used mythology in order to explain the heavens, but today's problems seem much more down to earth. Because as it was said, in an article published by the Middle Eastern-based news conglomerate Al Jazeera on January 11th of 2026, currently, the ASEAN, or Association for Southeastern Asian Nations, is experiencing an unprecedented economic crisis, specifically in the forms of rising inflation and rising interest rates set in place by the, quote, past regime. Southeastern Asia is experiencing a myriad of economic issues, especially when it comes to poor governmental decision-making. However, it doesn't end there, because as it was stated in an article this time published by the World Bank on February 11th of 2026, the ASEAN is struggling most when it comes to their defense budget, and they have seen a major regression in defense spending. As these nations within Southeastern Asia continue to try and combat Chinese naval aggression, one of the first things that they need to address is their lack of economic ability and the fact that it is flowing into their inability to take defensive action. Now, as we fly like Icarus into our second contention, we have to keep two things in mind. First, our relative positioning to the sun, and second, the fact that not only are they struggling economically, but also on a physical basis. According to an article published by The Guardian on January 19th of 2026, it was stated that the ASEAN is under constant attack from Chinese naval aggression. And it goes on to talk about how these inferior militaries trying to work with less budgeting than ever are continuing to fall short. However, it doesn't end there, because as the Washington Post contextualized on February 23rd of 2026, one of the biggest ways that China is continuing to hurt the ASEAN is the fact that they are using, quote, unorthodox methods to stop their trade routes. In these unorthodox methods, they've been doing things like the ramming of ships and even the deployment of water cannons in order to corrupt cargo. The cargo they're corrupting was cited in the article as things like basic medication, food, and resources for the needy. China continues to try and aim at the heart of these nations, and as they struggle both economically and physically, it becomes more clear now than ever that they are just too disjointed and have too much on their plate to take on the titan of China. Now, on Mount Olympus, Zeus held the ultimate executive authority, the lightning bolt. However, if Donald Trump were on Mount Olympus, there wouldn't be a battle for who can wield it. There would be a not-so-structured debate about who it can strike. Now, jokes about our Olympically aggressive executive aside, he and other international players, actors, and even organizations around the world are getting involved in this issue, bringing me to my third and final key point of analysis, the fact that international disputes are dividing the nations. As I mentioned before, cross-cultural conflicts are running rampant throughout the globe, and the ASEAN is absolutely no different. According to an article, this time published by the Council on Foreign Relations on March 3rd of 2026, it was stated that the ASEAN is facing one of its biggest challenges yet, being internal disputes. Things like the coup in Myanmar in 2021, the Philippines experiencing a disproportionate amount of Chinese naval aggression, and even widespread corruption within government officials is tearing down their ability to work. And as it was put out in a quote from the Vision think tank on March 11th, the ASEAN has brought themselves to a point of, quote, legislative paralysis because their decision-making process continues to fall short in the midst of international corruption and disputes. The ASEAN is not only under attack from China, but they are fighting within, making it more clear now than they have ever seen before that they are too disjointed to move forward. So, in conclusion, after looking to some history of Greek mythology, we now look to the history of our speech and ask ourselves today's question one more time. Is the ASEAN, or Association for Southeastern Asian Nations, too disjointed to present a united front in confronting Chinese naval aggression? And the answer was clear, that after looking at first, economic regression, second, inferior physical capabilities, and third, and possibly most importantly, the fact that internal disputes are dividing the nations, it becomes clear that there is no chance in Hades that these individual nations within Southeastern Asia can take on the titan that is China, because they are far too disjointed. Thank you.
Thank you, Micah. Here we have freshman Reagan Blake. Reagan competes in drama and has made a very big impression on our team this past season. She racked up several top ranks and even a few top novice awards during her first season of speech and debate. Please note that this speech includes discussion of drug abuse and child neglect. Please put your hands together for freshman Reagan Blake performing her drama, I Love You, Mommy.
Dum 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 dum. Do you remember when we used to go to the park and we see all those pretty flowers, those pretty purple and yellow ones? You always said that they were your favorites, and I'd pick them in bunches and bunches. Or do you remember when we were supposed to go camping, but it started raining really hard, and we had to cancel? And I started crying, but you said you'd fix it. And you brought me into my room, and there was a tent so we could still go camping. I miss those kind of days. Or do you remember when I'd have to go to sleep or you leave for any reason and you would look at me and tell me, now remember, Lucy, I will always love you. And don't you ever let anyone tell you different. According to the National Children's Alliance, there's been over 500,000 reports of abuse just in the past 2 years. Abuse is a worldwide issue that children have been silenced by for as long as you can think. The abuse in the household usually comes from the people they know the best: a grandparent, a father, or even a mother. Lucy, a daughter of a drug addict, takes us on her life journey through some of the most tragic things that can happen to someone, let alone for a 6-year-old girl, such as her mother's drug use being the cause of her death and ending up in the foster care system. Lucy shows us that actions speak louder than words. In I Love You, Mommy by Kendra Cabell. And don't you ever let anyone tell you different.
Well, I always believed it, and I always remembered it too. But do you remember the time that I walked into your room? Because I was so cold, and all I was doing was looking for warmth. Mommy, wake up, Mommy. Mommy, why do you have a shot, Mommy? You're not a doctor. You're not supposed to have this.
What? That is none of your business. Now go put your nose in someone else's life and leave me alone. I have a shot, Lucy, because I want one. Now just get out. Why are you trying to hug me? Stop trying to hug me. But Mommy, I love you. Well, isn't it a little late for that? I could be doing anything I want in this world if it wasn't for you. I'm not the problem here. You are. I'm sorry, Mom. You can do whatever you want. I wasn't trying to be bad or anything. Well, isn't it a little late for that? I'm sorry I ever had you. Now just get out of here before I do something I regret. But Mommy,
You stupid little piece of trash. You good for nothing, selfish little piece of nothing. You are nothing. Mommy, stop. You said that you weren't supposed to hurt people. You said that wasn't nice. But you hurt me and scared me. Lucy, calm down. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just got scared. Well, it's okay, Mommy. I know when I have to take shots, they hurt really bad too. So it's okay, Mommy. I forgive you. But I am sorry for that one time that I took the wrong lunch to school. And when I opened it, it was that powdered white stuff that guy used to bring you. I knew it was a secret between you and me, but the teacher saw it before I could hide it. And then everybody wanted to talk to me. Well, I kind of know what powdered stuff is, but it's a secret between me and my mommy, and I cannot tell you. No, I haven't had it before, but she has. She says she gets more calm when she takes it, and well, she does. And then they said that they have to talk to you. So we said shoulder to shoulder. But something was off. Look, whatever you guys told my daughter, it is not true. Drugs? Drugs. I don't know who she got drugs from. I am not using. And no, I do not consent to any tests. You have caused enough damage here. Me and my daughter will be leaving now. Oh, yeah? And what do you think you're going to do about that? What? No, why? No, fine. Ow, fine, I'll go. But not for long. But they did take you for a long time. The next morning, I came to visit you in the police station. Mommy, why are you here? Mommy, why are you crying? Mommy, Lucy, calm down. I'm sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen. And I promise you, honey, it's not forever. It's just until Mommy can get some help, okay? Here, take my necklace so you never forget me. Remember, Lucy, I will always love you. But you have to go now, okay? I need you to be strong for Mommy. Right now? No, Mommy, I tell you you didn't do it, Mommy. Why, Mommy? No! But they put me with this nice woman named Miss Jennifer. She has a really big house. And she even got me my own room to put my stuff in my special box to put my necklace in, so I never lose it or get it dirty. I wish you were here, Mommy. I wish this was your house and still your box. I love you. Dum, da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum. But one day, I was in my room playing my baby that you got me for Christmas when Miss Jennifer walked in. She looked so sad. And she was crying. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it was bad. She told me we had to go to the house. But when we got there were so many police cars there. Mommy, don't do this to me, Mommy. Why would you do this to me? Mommy, why? Mommy, no. No. Someone told me once that people kill themselves when they don't think that they're loved. But Mommy, I loved you. You loved me. You told me every day. And I miss you so much. And I won't let nobody else hug me.
No one unless it's you. Well, Mommy, the gates of the cemetery are closing now. I have to go. I promised I'd bring you some of those purple and yellow flowers you always said you loved. I'll be back. But don't forget, Mommy, I love you. Dum, 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 dum.
Sorry, folks, this is Gage's computer and I have to sign in every time. All right, I'm in. Coming up from our middle school program, we have freshman Rachel Thatcher in declamation. Rachel bid out to our state tournament within our first 4 tournaments this season. She was in the top 10 placers at 7 of our tournaments and received countless top novice awards. Please note that this speech includes a court testimony of sexual assault. Put your hands together for Rachel as she performs the court testimony known as the Stanford Survivor Letter.
Your Honor, if it's all right, for the majority of the statement, I would like to address the defendant directly. You don't know me, but you've been inside me. That is why we are here today. January 17th, 2015 was a quiet night. I planned to stay at home by myself while my sister went to a party with her friends. Then I decided it was my only night with her, so why not? I would go dance like a fool and embarrass my younger sister. I made silly faces, let my guard down, and drank too fast. Next, I remember, I was in a gurney in a hallway. I had been asked to sign papers that said, rape victim. And I thought something has really happened. My clothes were confiscated. I stood naked while nurses held a ruler to various abrasions on my body and photographed them. After hours of this, they let me shower. And I stood there examining my body beneath the stream of water and decided that I don't want my body anymore. I was terrified of it. I didn't know what had been in it or who had touched it. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 5 women have been raped at some point in their life. This is a shocking statistic. It is more shocking to see that only 37% of those women ever report their cases. Chanel Miller was raped by a student athlete at Stanford University. In her victim impact statement, she takes a stand and faces her abuser in court. For that reason, I stand here today, to bring awareness and speak for the women who can't, for the women who fear they won't be believed because their abuser was the captain of the football team, president of their speech and debate team, or a really good swimmer. Because everyone deserves a voice, even if it can't be their own. The Stanford Survivor Letter by Chanel Miller. On that morning, all I was told was that I had been found behind a dumpster, potentially penetrated by a stranger, but for now, I should go home and get back to my normal life. My sister picked me up, face wet from tears, I told her, "Look at me. I'm right here. I'm okay. Everything is okay." But she did not know. Beneath my sweatsuit, I had scratches and bandages on my skin. My vagina was sore. I was not ready to tell my boyfriend or my parents, so instead, I pretended the whole thing wasn't real. But it was so heavy, I didn't talk. I didn't interact with anyone. One day, I was at work. I was scrolling through the news on my phone. I came across an article. In it, I read and learned for the first time about how I was found. Unconscious, bra pulled out of my dress pulled over my shoulders. I was naked all the way down to my boots and penetrated by a foreign object by someone I could not recognize. This is how I learned what had happened to me. I don't know this person. I still don't know this person. At the bottom of the article, it listed his swimming times. She was found breathing, unresponsive, with her underwear 6 inches away from her, curled in a fetal position. By the way, he's really good at swimming. The night after it happened, he said he didn't know my name. Didn't mention any dialogue between us, no words, but he said he thought I liked it. Because I rubbed his back. A back rub. I was not only told I was assaulted, I was told because I couldn't remember, I technically couldn't prove it was ever unwanted. So here I was at the trial. It came time for him to testify. 1 year later, new dialogue had emerged. In this news story, there was suddenly consent. 1 year after the incident, he had remembered, oh yeah, by the way, she actually said yes to everything. Even in his story, I said a total of only 3 words, yes, yes, and yes, before he had me half naked on the ground. For future reference, if you are confused about whether a girl can consent, see if she can speak an entire sentence. If she is too drunk to walk and falls down, do not mount her, hump her, take off her underwear, and insert your hand inside of her to sit under oath and inform us all that yes, I wanted it, yes, I permitted it, and that you are the true victim is appalling. Demented, selfish, damaging, you are guilty. 12 jurors convicted you guilty of 3 felony counts beyond reasonable doubt. Then I read your statement. You said, being drunk, I just couldn't make the best decisions, and neither could she. Alcohol is not an excuse. Is it a factor? Yes. But alcohol was not the one who stripped me, groped me, and had my head dragging against the ground. We were both drunk. The difference is, I did not take off your pants, your underwear, touch you inappropriately, then run away. That is the difference. You said, I want to show people that one night of drinking can ruin a life. A life. One life, yours. You forgot about mine, so let me rephrase for you. I want to show people that one night of drinking can ruin 2 lives. You and me. You are the cause and I am the effect. You have dragged me through this hell with you, dipped me back into that night again and again. You took away my worth, my privacy, my energy, my time, my safety, my confidence, and my own voice. Until today. Then, when I see my younger sister hurting, when she is crying so hard, she is barely breathing, telling me over and over again she is sorry for ever leaving me alone that night. Sorry, 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 when she feels more guilt than you, then I do not forgive you. You should have never done this to me, but here we are. The damage is done and no one can undo it. We both have a choice. I can remain hurt. You can remain in denial, or we face this head on. I accept the pain, you accept the punishment, and we move on. I told the officers I did not want Brock to rot away in prison. I did not say he doesn't deserve to be behind bars. But the officer's recommendation of a year or less in county jail is a mockery of the seriousness of his assaults, an insult to me and all women. What has he done to demonstrate that he deserves a break? He has only apologized for drinking. He has re-victimized me continuously, relentlessly. It is time for him to accept the consequences of his actions. He is a lifetime sex registrant, and that doesn't expire. What he did to me doesn't expire. It stays with me. It's a part of my identity. It has forever changed the way that I carry myself, the way that I live the rest of my life. So to conclude, I would like to say thank you to everyone. But most importantly, to girls everywhere, I am with you. On nights you feel alone, I am with you. When someone doubts you or dismisses you, I am with you. Author Anne Lamott once wrote, "Lighthouses don't go running all over an island looking for boats to save. They just stand there shining." I can't save every boat, but I hope that by speaking today, you absorbed a knowing that you are beautiful. Every minute of every day, to girls everywhere, I am with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Now introducing the Wolf duo of Molly and Natalie. They've had a phenomenal season this year, despite only forming their duo about halfway through the season and being entered in their own separate categories as well. Their accolades include championing 4 tournaments, including a national circuit one in Pittsburgh, placing 7th in the state, and qualifying to nationals in Richmond. Please note that this speech includes humorous misunderstandings of adult themes. Please put your hands together for the duo of Wolf and Wolf, performing Bad Words 2, Save the Day.
I will not try to save lives. This is what happens when you do something really bad, even though you thought it was going to be really good. I will not administer shots on the playground. You get a lifetime of detention and investigated for trying to conceal a homicide. Even though nobody even died. I will not use someone else's illness as a way to divert attention from the real issue. And I'm on a bunch of government and police watch lists. It all started out simply enough. Oh, hey, Caroline. Whoa, you look really deep in thought. I am. I'm trying to figure out a way to save lives. What are you doing with that hypodermic needle? I found it on the playground. I'm practicing giving shots to people to cure them of their illness. Wow, you are a really big thinker. It's my way of life. Look around. What do you see? Teachers flirting? Kids flirting? Teachers flirting with kids? don't you see?
That could be a really, really, really long answer.
Safety devices! There are no safety devices out here.
I know what we can do.
Or are we gonna end up in trouble?
Trust me.
I worry when you say trust me. And that's when I found out that I don't know as much as I think. And that one thing can really freak people out. STDs. They are not what I thought they were. Growing up with a teacher as a parent, there were a lot of shows that Molly and I weren't allowed to watch. Like Harry Potter,
Witchcraft.
Dora the Explorer,
Immigration.
Cat Dog.
Not the way God intended.
But in recent years, we have become reckless with what we expose our children to.
Social media has made it easier than ever to expose children to information that they cannot properly process through movies and TV.
Yeah, well, at least there are no TV shows about kids who mistake AEDs for STDs and overdose their principal on weed gummies, right? Give me some skin.
Bad Words 2.
STDs Saved the Day.
By Margaret Erickson.
Oh, Mr. Rooney's got some cool stuff in here, like handcuffs and costumes.
Weird.
Ooh, look at this. I know what this is. It's Mr. Rooney's live stream camera he uses to do the weekly live stream show.
I see these things. You just push the button and whammo, you're live. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. I really want to touch it, but I'm telling myself not to.
Hey! Ooh, what's this?
Ooh, Cialis. What's that? It says it has magical results.
Magic 8-ball.
Oh, I love these things.
Okay.
Will we get in trouble today?
Most definitely.
Damn it. Phone.
Let's leave a picture. Ready? Smile.
Sexy.
I don't know if you remember, but I'm on. I mean, this.
Yeah. We found this on your desk.
What does Cialis do?
And why does it say the magic pill? Are you interested in being a magician, Mr. Rooney?
Oh. Why are we here?
The STDs.
Down!
Where did you get your principling degree?
Potty Mouth University? Stop saying STD.
What if we spell it?
It would still come out STD.
Listen, if you're saying that we can't give STDs to kids anymore, that is a real deal breaker. Yeah, we need STDs all over this place, especially on the playground.
That's right. Safety. It's part of the Wildcat way.
We need to shout that from the rooftops, girl.
My dad is an STD king.
He is. I've seen it.
He even took a test to make sure that he could still give people STDs if they really, really need them.
Yeah, he's basically ready to save the day one STD at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mr. Rooney, I think you're mistaken. ABCs are what we learn in class. AED? What's that? Never heard of it. It has to be STD. Save the day device.
No, CPR is what leads to STDs because people don't do it right.
Or they do it too much. They practice the rhythm method. Staying alive, staying alive. Sexually transmitted disease. I don't want to say that. That is not what STD means, Mr. Rooney. That's just dirty. Very dirty. Dirtier than anything my dog has ever licked. And she can get back there pretty far.
Where do you come up with these ideas?
Terrible principling. Are we free to go?
We're not free to go.
Oh, what if we play things that don't exist but should?
Human hamster wheel.
Waterboarding. Space travel.
That does exist.
Does not.
Does too.
Does not.
Does too.
Does not.
All right. There's only one way to settle this. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh my God.
We're the most screwed up kids you've ever come across.
Ever?
Haters gonna hate. Let's take this down a notch and play...
Favorite game, Uno.
Tinder.
Tinder? What's that?
It's this game where you see pictures of people that you really like to meet and hang out with, and then you swipe right.
Oh, I like to swipe right. Do you like to swipe right, Mr. Rooney?
While you're missing out, there's all kinds of people looking to meet new friends.
Yeah, and meeting new friends is part of the Wildcat way. Oh, I'm gonna start a swipe right Tinder club here.
That's genius. We can call it the Wildcat Way Swipe Right Club.
You look famished, Mr. Rooney. I have some yummy gummies. I found them in my brother's drawer.
Have a few.
Oh, well, most people only have 2.
Yeah. And you had like 12. Mr. Rooney, can you hear me?
Oh my God, his eyes are rolling back. He's coding! He's coding!
Do not go toward the light.
Someone give me an STD stat! Oh,
He's dead.
Time of death?
12? 33. Okay, what do we do?
Get rid of the body.
What?
Look, all I need is a match and some lighter fluid and I can torch this place and everything in it.
No.
Oh my God, we're gonna be in so much trouble.
I have a better idea. Let's live stream this.
Oh my Lord, that's perfect.
So,
and we can use this as your chance to show everyone how important it is to have STDs.
let's get this party started.
Party? Too soon.
You're right. That was insensitive. Hi, Wildcat family. This is Autumn.
Caroline! Coming to you live from Mr. Rooney's office.
As you can see, Mr. Rooney is dead. Tragically.
We will now have a moment of silence.
That was nice. Whoa, there are tons of thumbs up and messages coming in.
Look, so many people are saying that Mr. Rooney has touched them in some way.
Oh, how nice. He was a toucher. Unfortunately, we weren't able to save him.
If only we had the proper training and devices. Well, Mr. Rooney's death is tragic.
Very tragic.
It poses the question, at what age is it appropriate for kids to have STDs?
I'll take it one further. How many STDs is enough?
It is a good question. If only we had an STD somewhere in Mr. Rooney's office, we would have been able to shock him back to life. But we did not. Free STDs for everyone! It's the Wildcat way!
Whoa! Friends, we are witnessing a miracle in real time.
Mr. Rooney has just risen from the dead!
What are we doing? We're live streaming to the Wildcat family. Duh.
See, we have 267 people watching!
278. Hey, Mr. Rooney.
Oh, okay, so Mr. Rooney needs us to shut this down now, so this is Caroline, signing off! Hashtag he is risen! Hashtag Mr. Rooney's STDs! Hashtag free STDs for
Oh boy, okay. At this time, Please hold up your questionnaires, and our students will come around and collect them to try and find out our winner.
All right, while those are coming around, I just want to remind you that you have until the end of this last speech to put your bids in for the auction. So if you haven't done so already, I would encourage you guys to go check out that back table. All right, it seems like we've collected all of the papers. All right, here we go. Last but not least, we have senior Stephen Richards in dramatic interpretation. Stephen has had such an incredible 4 years on the team and was a 3-time state qualifier. He also received top ranks at our national qualifying tournament. Please note that this speech includes discussion of kidnapping. Put your hands together for Stephen.
I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I mean, look at them. Take a long look at those faces, and I'll say it again. I do not know how you do it. Leave them alone. Go out at night. Dinner, to the theater, here with me, listening. Sure, they're all right locked up in your safe little houses or fancy flats high up in the sky, but you know they're not. In your guts. Deep, deep in those bellies of yours, you know they're not. Every day that you send them off to school or down to the shops or off to a friend's house so you can run out and get your hair done. You know that you've opened up the door for someone like me. For the likes of me. That's beautiful, that kind of trust. It's not anything a person can win over or gain or whatever. It just gets handed out. You simply put them into our hands, and that's that. You don't think twice about it, and you're surrounded by us. That's what you don't seem to understand. As many times as it happens, every instance you read of it in the paper, and yet you send the little dears off with the nanny, or out to the park, or on a plane to meet their grandparents at Disney World, and one by one, we pick them off, separate them from the herd, and then we strike. We swoop in and grab them. And off we go with your loved ones. Your little gorgeous bundles of joy. And when we do, when that moment happens, I want you to know something. That second, that instant when they become ours, hidden away in our lorries or basements or an old irrigation ditch, somewhere until we decide what to do with them. From that moment on, they will never know love again, or kindness, or the warm touch of a parent's embrace, not ever. So remember that as you read that ransom note. Or stare at the telly, waiting for news as the police and your neighbors bravely walk through fields and back alleys surrounding your homes. Just remember that your terrified little children are in our clutches and will feel nothing but pain and sadness and terror for the last hours of their lives because of you. It's scary to think that there will most likely never be a complete end to the horrors of this world. Kidnappings, murders, assaults, robberies, even something as small as a lie. Each day in the U.S. alone, there are roughly 1,300 reported child abductions. Just this statistic raises risk factors to the roof. Most locations outside of your home, even in your own yard, kidnappings can occur. And it's taken for granted how easily someone can never be seen again. In this piece, we see through the lens of a child abductor. And as crazy as he may be, you can't deny that there may be a point somewhere in the madness. Unimaginable, by Neil Labute. It was you who signed the permission slip for the school trip, or said yes to the pizza party that they walked over to and were never seen again. It was only 2 doors down. I know it was, but in those 50 feet from your house to the store, we grab them. We snatch them away to a place that you could never even imagine until today, until this moment. And now it's here. It's happened, the unimaginable. And that's all you have left, is to imagine it. Well, imagine this. What you've done by trusting me, someone like me, by letting them out the door at just the wrong time. At that moment, as we were passing by, or waiting just for them. And now we've done it. Ruined their little life. And so it's into a bag, or a suitcase, or the dirty ground itself. We hide them away, and off we go, out on the prowl just one more time because we can't stop. No, we don't want to stop, and we won't stop. No, we won't. I mean, why should we? It's your fault. You gave them up. Let them go, and now they're ours. Ours to do with as we please, and pleased we are at what they'll do for us. Such awful things. Then we go on to the next, and the next, and the next. Maybe yours this time. No, it's always somebody else's problem, isn't it? Isn't it? So one way or another, we'll get them. We'll take them from you, and there's nothing you can do. Just watch and wait, knowing that they'll get dug up or pulled from a pond tomorrow, next week, or when you're 50. But until then, you won't know. You can't know, and you will fear the worst. Hope for the best, but in your heart, those hard, stubborn little hearts of yours, you'll know the truth. They're gone, but not gone. They're dead, but not yet dead. They're truly the undead. Isn't it silly how we grow up afraid of the dark? The dark is safe. No one can find you in the dark. You can run, you can hide, you can get away. It's the light that always ruins it for us. It catches us, or gives up our position. It exposes us in the end, but not darkness. No, never that. But our parents show us to be afraid of silly things like zombies and dragons and the boogeyman while they're surrounded by monsters, real life monsters like me and him and her. And they send their children out in our midst. And off they go, lost, missing, abducted. That's what happens to them. So teach your children. Teach them that, why don't you? Teach them about what is truly unimaginable. Well, imagine it, or soon it may be too late. In fact, for someone tonight, maybe even someone here watching this, it already is. Can you imagine that? I can. Every stinking inch of it. You're already reaching for your phones, aren't you? Just to be safe. One tiny call to the sitter and all will be well. So you think, so you know. So says your mom and your dad and all that you believe in. But if you call, if you do, if you give in to your fears right now and the phone keeps ringing, what do you do then? Tell me that, pretty lady. Or handsome man. What do you do then? When you start to panic and your eyes widen, that is what I live to see. That is the moment that I love. So go on. Go for it. Give in. Make that call. I dare you to. Go on. I dare you. Who knows? Maybe that'll work. Maybe everything is fine. Or maybe. Go on. I dare you. Thank you.
Stephen plans to attend the University of Mount Union to major in music education and continue making music. Okay, now it's time to find out our 50-50 winner.
Can I pull the ticket and read the numbers?
Sure. Get ready. 4, 9, 6, 6, 2, 7, 7. There he is. There's our winner.
This is the winner of the game.
All right, the winner for our raffle questionnaire. I can't read. Sorry, I can't read. Amanda Chapman, if you could raise your hand. Okay, that goes to you. You almost.
Do you want me to do this?
Sure.
All right, so good evening. I'm going to go through the auction winners tonight. I have officially closed the auction form, so you can't make any more bids. What's done is done. Thank you to those of you that participated in this. And if you will just meet me at that table back there, Jake, raise your hand. Meet me back there at the end. We'll take care of getting you your items that you've won and getting your payment. Firstly, for the Amish Country Theater, Wanda. Where's Wanda? Okay. For the Holden Forest, Cal. Where's she? For the Snow Trail, this one got a little testy here at the end, but in the end, Mark Kime. Great Lakes sorry, it's cut off on my sheet. The Great Lakes Historical Society, I think is what it is, goes to Stephanie Risco. The Baylor's Beach 4-pack goes to, is it Keeley? Cadell? Am I saying that right? Okay. The Paint and Sip Date Night goes to David Fensenden. The Taste of Louisville basket also goes to Stephanie Risco. Thank you, Stephanie. And the car wash bucket is also Stephanie's. So if you guys will meet me at that back table on your way out, we'll get all of that squared away. Thank you all for bidding and participating in our auction. This is the first year we've done that, and I think it was a good success. So thank you all.
Okay, everyone. I want to thank you all so much for joining us for our state qualifier and senior showcase. It's really cool when we get to give a lot of our awesome competitors their flowers that they have so righteously earned this season. It was truly fantastic having everyone to support our talented students. We hope you had a great time, and we look forward to seeing you at future events. Thank you again to our sponsors, our administrators, coaches, judges, parents, and anyone who helped make this possible, especially if you drive some of these students at like 6 in the morning to bus times. Thank you so much for doing that. Your sacrifice is absolutely realized, and we appreciate you very much. Have a great evening, and thank you all. Drive safe.
Cut it all. I will take that so it gets, this was ours, right? Yeah. Okay, then I'll make sure it gets back there.
And that was the Louisville High School Speech and Debate State and National Showcase, along with the Senior Showcase. Tell you what a fun event, what a great event. And as you can see, a lot of folks here tonight. Some phenomenal performances tonight. We had a great time, and I hope you did too. So I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. We had a great time, and I'm going to sign off for tonight. So we'll see you in a gymnasium, stadium, or event near you. Till next time, everybody, this is the Spotlight Media Network.